Jeremiah 29:11, you got it interpreted wrong. You've seen it on bumper stickers, you've seen it on t-shirts, you've seen Instagram posts, but let me just tell you, you have interpreted that scripture wrong. So let's look at it together, and I'm going to show you what it actually means. And it says this, Jeremiah 29:11, this is in the ESV, "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." And although that is so inspirational, let's bring it back to context, because oftentimes what we're guilty of in Christianity is deleting the context and taking a prophecy for the nation of Israel and making it personal to ourselves. So let me just kind of help you explain. God, through a prophet, was basically saying that in 70 years, that there is going to be a restoration, a bringing back, okay? And so they're in exile in Babylon, and there's gonna be this future restoration after 70 years, not an immediate personal prosperity, okay? So what happens is we take a word that was spoken to a group of people, Israel, and basically saying, hey, you're in Babylonian exile, and after 70 years, there's going to be a restoration. And then Christians, particularly American Christians, have personally tailored this to their own prosperity. So what do we do with this, okay? Because you might be really upset right now. Pastor Mike, I have Jeremiah 29:11 tattooed on me. I've built my entire ministry around this scripture. Like, what do you mean it's not for me? Well, we have to understand that, number one, you interpret scripture with scripture. So what else is happening in the 29th chapter of the book of Jeremiah? And then number two, who was it actually intended for? Was it intended for American Christians in the 2020s, or was it intended for the nation of Israel? But let me just end on like a really solid, encouraging note. Although the promise is not for us, the principle is for us. Because what it actually reveals is the heart of God concerning the nation and the people of Israel at this time who were in Babylonian exile. And the question is, how does that apply to each and every single one of us? In other words, if God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, if he said, hey, Israel, I know the plans that I have for you, plans for good and not for evil, then the principle is that God's heart for us is a heart to prosper us. But here's the question. It's the we over me. So when you put the bumper sticker on your car, when you made the shirt, when you got the tattoo, you were thinking about yourself. The challenge of God's heart is, are you thinking about a people? Even this, I'm just going to connect two ideas right now. This is the Old Testament. Let me connect the New Testament. When the disciples are like, Jesus, teach us how to pray. This is literally what he said. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Forgive us of our debts as we forgive those who sinned against us. It's deliver us from the evil one. The language of Jesus is it's plural. It's the language of a group of people. And there's something about American Christianity in particular that made everything individual because we're individualistic. So when you look at Jeremiah 29:11, my real challenge to you is, do you believe that not just God will prosper you, but he will prosper his people through Christ, who were grafted in, right, to the promise of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? And so are you thinking about we over me? And then the last question I have for you is, how do you define prosperity? Because in the first century, all of the apostles except for one was martyred for the gospel. So by our standards, it's like, that's not prosperous. Being sentenced to jail for the gospel, that's not prosperous. So what is your definition of prosperity? And this becomes deeply convicting. And so if you're going to leave the Jeremiah 29:11, bumper sticker on your car, if you're not going to get the tattoo removed, if you're going to keep it as a part of your ministry, you have to change the meaning from this singular and then American definition of prosperity to collective God's people, and then what is it to truly prosper by God's definition. And I'm just going to give you the answer in closing. True prosperity is fulfilling the Great Commission. It's leading the lost to the cross at any cost. Because I will tell you this, my family being saved, that's true riches. Souls are true riches. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet they lose their own soul? So prosperity, even the apostle says, I desire that you would prosper even as your soul prospers. And so by that definition, me and my whole family are going to heaven. I'm rich. That's the legacy of the cross. So if this helped you, hit the subscribe button right now, join this channel, hit the thumbs up so more people can get their bad theology corrected and come into a knowledge of what Jeremiah 29:11 is really about. And then in the comment section, let me know what you thought about this teaching and what really blew your mind. I can't wait to read the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.